India's jobs market latest news. Growing youth unrest manifesting in new political movements and citizen-led scrutiny of governance failures has shifted public attention from GDP growth numbers to job creation. This article uses CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, data to examine what actually happened to employment in India between 2016 to 17 and 2025 to 26. Understanding the data, why employment rate matters more than unemployment rate. The unemployment rate, UER, is calculated as a share of the labor force, those actively seeking work. When discouraged workers stop looking for jobs, they exit the labor force, which can artificially reduce the UER even as actual joblessness worsens. India's labor force participation rate, LFPR, fluctuates significantly, unlike developed countries where it remains stable, making the UER a misleading indicator of labor market stress. The employment rate, ER, a more reliable metric. The employment rate measures the number of people with a job as a percentage of the total working age population, 15 years and above. It bypasses LFPR fluctuations entirely. A falling ER even when the UER appears low reveals the true depth of joblessness. This is the primary metric used in this analysis. Overall employment rate, the headline finding. India's overall ER fell from 42.7% in 2016 to 17 to 38.7% in 2025 to 26. In absolute terms, employment rose from 406 million to 438 million, an addition of 32 million jobs. However, this was insufficient because India's working age population grew faster than job creation. The ER hit its lowest point around 2020 to 21 and 2021 to 22, COVID impact, and has partially recovered since, but remains well below the 2016 to 17 baseline. Gender dimension. The ER decline has been severe across both genders. For men, it fell from 70.5% to 64.8%. For women, it fell from 11.8% to 9.4%, already very low, now even lower, indicating that women are increasingly being pushed out of the labor market altogether. Employment rate by age group. The ER declined across almost all age groups between 2016 to 17 and 2025 to 26. The only two cohorts showing marginal improvement were the 25 to 29 years and 55 to 59 years groups. The most dramatic decline was in the 15 to 19 age group, from 9.81% to 3.22%, suggesting that young people are either in education or simply unable to find work. The 20 to 24 age group also saw a steep fall from 33.28% to 21.36%, making youth unemployment one of the most pressing structural concerns. Notably, falls across age groups were sharper than increments, explaining the overall decline. Employment rate by education level. All education cohorts show a lower ER in 2025 to 26 than in 2016 to 17. However, the degree of decline varies. The cohort with only primary education saw the sharpest decline. Graduates saw the smallest decline, from approximately 51% in 2016 to 17 to 49% in 2025 to 26, suggesting that higher education provides some insulation but is far from a guarantee of employment. The broader message is stark. Education has not been able to protect workers from declining employment prospects. Employment rate by religion. All four major religious communities show a decline in ER over the decade. In 2025 to 26, ER stood at 39% for Hindus, down from 43%, 37% for Muslims, down from 40%, 37% for Sikhs, down from 42%, and 41% for Christians, the only group that held roughly steady. The near-uniform decline across religious groups confirms that the employment crisis is structural, not community-specific. Employment rate by caste group. No caste group escaped the declining trend. In 2025 to 26, the ER stood at roughly 36% for upper castes, 38 to 39% for OBCs, 40% for scheduled castes, and 48% for scheduled tribes. While STS retained the highest ER, largely due to agricultural and forest-based livelihoods, their ER has also declined from 49.1% in 2016 to 17. The intermediate castes Marothats, Jats, Gujjars who aspire for OBC status partly driven by employment pressures also show a declining trend. The employment crisis cuts across all caste lines. Why is this happening? Structural explanations. GDP growth is necessary but not sufficient. India has maintained reasonable GDP growth over the decade, yet employment has declined. This reflects a lopsided growth model, one that boosts aggregate output without generating proportionate jobs. Economists argue that Indian policies are designed more to boost GDP than to create employment. Globalization and trade insularity. Globalization refers to the slowing down of globalization, a trend where the pace of global economic integration, trade, investment, migration, supply chains, is decelerating or even reversing, after decades of rapid expansion. A less open global trading environment, Brexit, Trump's tariff policies, India's own withdrawal from RCEP, rising import tariffs, and the Swadeshi growth model reduces export-led job opportunities. Countries with large young populations like India need open trade to generate the volume of jobs required. The AI threat. Artificial intelligence poses a growing threat to India's labor market, particularly in services, IT, and routine white-collar work, potentially disrupting job creation in the very sectors where India has been competitive globally. Conclusion. India's employment data tells a sobering story: more people, fewer jobs proportionally, across every gender, age, caste, religion, and education level. GDP growth without job-rich growth is not development, it is statistics masquerading as progress. For a country with the world's largest youth population, converting the demographic dividend into dignified employment is not just an economic imperative, it is the defining governance challenge of our time. Source: IE